What do you get when you mix acid cocaine and Friday the 13th? You get Camp Death 3 in 2D. What's going on, friends? Logan Myers here for Cinephellas.com. Tonight I'm going to be talking about a brand new horror flick from Matt Frame, Canadian filmmaker, good friend of ours. Matt, thanks for sending us over a screener of this flick. We had an absolute blast with that. We love the horror genre. We love the comedy and parody flicks, so we really had a good time with this. So Camp Death 3 in 2D, not 3D, is a parody pretty much of the Friday the 13th films. More specifically, Part 3 in 3D. That is probably my favorite entry in the Friday the 13th franchise next to Part 4. It's not one of my favorite horror franchises. I still love Halloween, but I still have a good time in Friday the 13th and Jason Voorhees and all the dumbass counselors that come across Uncle Jason Voorhees. So the setup of the film, this takes place at Camp Crystal Meth. Crystal Meth, beautiful title there. And the killer is Johan Van Damme. I don't know if that is because Matt loves Jean-Claude Van Damme like us. Setup is all these murders happen and they reopen this camp years later, and it's a halfway house place for the mentally ill. So you know it's going to be a good setup. And Camp Death 3 is a parody film. I love these types of movies that poke fun and also pay homage to many films of the past. Scary Movie, Spaceballs, you know, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of parody flicks. I love B-horror flicks. I love the slasher genre, huge fan of the 80s. So, you know, I went in with high expectations and had a good time with this. And in this film, there's a lot of Canadian indie actors, a lot of them not familiar with, you know, including the counselor or the people showing up that are mentally ill. They really had a good time with this film, and you could tell with the overacting and the kill sequences and just the dialogue in between the characters, you can tell they had a good time with this. You know what's great about the slasher genre? My favorite part is really the kill scenes, right? The over-the-top, gory, you know, machete in the head, cutting off a limb. These are over the top, and they don't hold back in this movie. There's some really great, ridiculous kill scenes that I would have never thought of. One of my favorites is having to do with the toaster, and basically Johan Van Damme like kills the person with this toaster, with the toast coming out. Another great scene was with the cop, and he's like, "Oh, you're not killing me right, you gotta do this," and it was just like poking fun at the genre. And Camp Death 3 in 2D, it seemed like they played homage to Caddyshack as well, because in this movie there's a squirrel that has to do with some cocaine, and the squirrel ends up killing somebody with blow or cocaine, and it was insane. It was like something you would see on set of Caddyshack back in the day, like Bill Murray and Chevy Chase doing blow before they were shooting their scenes with the gopher. That's what it reminded me of. And it was something I did not expect, but I had a really great time with that, and it was a really great piece of this movie. And this is a movie that's not going to be for everybody. If you don't like 80s horror, if you don't like B-movies, if you don't like slashers, and more importantly, you don't like parody movies, this is not going to be a movie for you. But for me, being a fan of all these different genres, I absolutely love this movie. I was laughing the entire time, enjoying the kill scenes and what they did with this killer, Johan Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme's stepbrother. And even the mask, I had a good time with the mask. It reminded me of the guitarist Buckethead, and kind of like a Michael Myers mask. It had the white mask. And we're setting up these scenes, you know, the green screen you could see in the background, it's like me shooting on this. Some of the editing was a little choppy, but I think that was the whole point. They didn't want to make it look like it's a huge Hollywood film with visual effects. Another thing I absolutely loved about this movie is mixing horror and Star Wars. There's like a take on Return of the Jedi. So this film, I didn't really know what to expect. I saw the trailers, they looked hilarious. I knew it was gonna be a parody flick, and it's a take on Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D. And you know what? I had an absolute blast with this. I'm so thankful that Matt Frame sent this over to us here at Cinephellas. So with the over-the-top acting, the awesome kill scenes, and that crazy squirrel, I really had a good time with this, and I highly recommend it to all you fans of the horror genre out there. If you like films like this, you'll have a really good time with Camp Death 3 in 2D. So I'm going to give this film a 3 out of 5 Johan Van Damme hair pieces. So have you guys seen Camp Death 3 in 2D? What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What was your favorite kill scene in the movie? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. This is Logan Myers signing out from Camp Crystal Meth. Until the next review, cheers!